Here we are on the campus of the University of Arizona, just entering the Arboretum, the Charles H. Shattuck Arboretum on the campus of the University of Idaho. Shattuck was an early day American forester. I received my undergraduate degree in forestry from this esteemed institution in 1982. Let's take a little walk in the extensive Arboretum and talk a little bit about my early days from my early 20s. This is a fir tree. It's a fir, so the needles are flat fir. And you can tell it's a true fir, not a Douglas fir, because it has opposite branching. And all the way down the limb, the next stems, the next limbs are coming off, almost every single one of them, opposite from another one. So this is what's called opposite branching. And this, I believe, is an Abies grandis, grand fir. Another tree here in the Arboretum, this one is a spruce tree. Spruce has square needles. So these needles, unlike the flat needles of the fir, spruce is square. So if you hold these between your fingers, they're very square feeling. This one has a bluish glaucous bloom on the needles, on the leaves. And that's a further indication that it's a spruce tree. I believe this is an Engelmann spruce, Picea engelmannii. This Arboretum on the campus of the University of Arizona includes dozens of species of trees, including a signature tree in northern central Idaho in the northern Rockies, the Thuya placata, or western red cedar. It's not a true cedar, of course. The genus Cedrus, which indicates the true cedars, is found only in the Middle East, maybe a little bit beyond there. But cedar is a name attached to trees in a variety of countries and continents. The western red cedar is one of the many species found in northern and central Idaho in the coniferous forest. But this Arboretum also has so-called hardwood species, angiosperms, and there's a wide variety of species, including pines, such as this one. I believe this is ponderosa pine. And there's firs, as already indicated. There's Douglas fir. There are maples, and a wide assortment of angiosperm and coniferous species from the entire region. This was one of the early planted groves of trees in the entire western United States. When this Arboretum was established in the early part of the 20th century, there was not a broad understanding of the difference between indigenous species and non-indigenous species, so-called non-natives or sometimes invasive. And so throughout this particular Arboretum, this little grove of trees, there are non-natives, such as this Norway maple planted here, probably by Shattuck himself or one of the people he was working with. And, you know, a variety of species can persist in an area such as this. Other trees die because of lack of light in the understory, but there's this rich feeling of being in a forest like this. You can actually sense higher levels of oxygen when you're walking through the forest. It's a calming feeling, even as small trees are dying, as the bigger trees are dying. Some trees are being removed because they're dying, the limbs are falling off, and they don't want them to hit the people like me, the tourists. But notice the beautiful light on the maple, the genus Acer, A-C-E-R, in the background there. It's just a wonderful place to spend some time. I spent many hours contemplating here in the Arboretum as an undergraduate student at the University of Idaho. At the edge of extinction, only love remains.